We're getting closer and closer to real football, but preseason football is underway. If you are ready and excited for week 2 of the NFL preseason, then show it by liking today's video. We'll get to Matt Judon, Brandon Aiyuk, but let's begin today's show with the first of 3 sagas, the Haason Reddick saga. For the second time this offseason, Haason Reddick has requested a trade. This time from the New York Jets, who, of course, I'm sure you guys all remember, they traded for him months ago. Reddick, you could tell like when the agent sends out the news of like, I want this to be reported, because it was like rapid fire. Every major NFL outlet reporter said the exact same thing. Sources, Reddick has requested a trade. Agent said hit send all on the text, right? The Jets, meanwhile, did not wait that much longer to respond. We have informed Haason that we will not trade him, and they expect him to be with his teammates, that he will continue to be fine per the CBA if he does not report. Since the trade discussions back in March, we have been clear, direct, and consistent with our position. Our focus will remain on the guys we have here as we prepare for the regular season. Regardless of whose fault it is, it sucks for the Jets in the end. It does sound like there was some type of miscommunication failure or misunderstanding failure between the two parties. The Jets traded a 2026 conditional third-round pick for Reddick this offseason. Both sides knew he wanted a new deal. The Reddick seemed to think that the Jets would, reevaluate his contract status later. The Jets seemed to think that they made it clear to Reddick that they would worry about that much, much later. And Reddick has not gotten a new contract. He is upset. And he is now paid or at least accrued, I should say, $1.7 million in fines/lost bonuses. Reddick is a damn good football player. On one hand, I understand wanting to get paid again. Did you know there are 2 players over the last 4 seasons with double-digit sacks? It is Reddick and Myles Garrett. That's the list, in part due to injuries. Like, there are guys that would have had that if they were healthy. So I get why he's trying to get paid as he looks at, Danielle Hunter getting almost $25 million per year. Like, I get he wants a new contract. Somewhere, something along the line got screwed up, and it's led to Reddick not reporting to the Jets. And I do wonder if this is maybe the example of, the team might be right on this one. This might be more on the Reddick camp side of things compared to examples like, I don't know, the Cowboys and CeeDee Lamb. The Jets kind of need him because they let Bryce Huff leave to the Jets, or to the Eagles, and then traded for Reddick. Without him, it's Jermaine Johnson, Will McDonald, and Michael Clemens is like a fine piece, but he's not the same pass rusher that Reddick is. You're banking on 2 young guys really emerging. I don't think they want to trade him, but something's got to break at some point. Somebody has to blink. So will the Jets trade Haason Reddick? Y for yes, N for no at the pin comment of today's show. I want to run through 5 potential fits if they do trade him. Number 5, I don't think they're actually going to do it, but it'd be really funny. The funniest thing ever bit, right? Eagles trade back for him and give like a 5th-round pick. There's no way they do it, right? There's no way. But it'd be pretty funny. Be a ultimate Howie Roseman masterclass, as unlikely as that sounds. Low-key, I'm not sure they're ready to go be a contender and add a guy like Haason Reddick, age, capital-wise. I think adding him to Washington would be a really great fit. Like, he fits what Dan Quinn likes in a pass rusher, and you make him your number 1 pass rusher instead of like Dorrance Armstrong, Dante Fowler. It's a much better crew. In the reunion category, Arizona actually makes a ton of sense. There's Jonathan Gannon as the fit. They need another pass rusher with the injuries that they've suffered to B.J. Ojulari. So going after Reddick with gobs of cap space available actually makes perfect sense to me for Arizona if they think they're willing to be a contender. The Chicago Bears also are in need of another pass rusher. Now, maybe Austin Booker emerges. Maybe Dominique Robinson ends up being a piece, but I thought he was always going to be more of a rotational guy coming out of Miami, Ohio. 1 more pass rusher would be needed, and the Bears are not paying Caleb Williams anything. So that certainly makes some sense. Number 1, though, is the Atlanta Falcons. They didn't address pass rusher super early. Now Braylon Trice is unfortunately injured. They need another pass rusher. That is a team that I think, with Kirk Cousins and all these assets trying to win games now, they are among the favorites in the NFC South. Adding Reddick makes a lot of sense for Atlanta. Today's show is made possible by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Unlike other apps where you have to compete against everybody else and finish in the top 5% to win back your money or whatever. You just have to beat the math. 2 to 6 player stat projections, more than or less than on those stat projections, and you win. There you go. You can win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks with as little as 4 correct picks. It is available in more than 30 states across the country, including California, Texas, and Georgia. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS to download the PrizePicks app today and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. They got Joe Burrow, more than passing yards. Trevor Lawrence, more than passing yards. Dak Prescott, more than passing yards. Maybe some injury risks there, but I like going with the more than season long because kind of factoring in that injury concern already. So once again, folks, download the PrizePicks app over at prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less with PrizePicks. It is that easy. From one disgruntled pass rusher to another, Matthew Judon still searching for a new deal from New England. Teams have called the Patriots about a trade per ESPN's Jeremy Fowler. Says multiple teams have inquired about trading for Matthew Judon in his contract stalemate with the Patriots. He's due $6.5 million in the final year of his deal. New England made a contract offer to Judon this summer, which Judon did not accept. We'll go more in depth here on Judon, but of these two pass rushers, who is more likely to be traded? And maybe a trade for each other because solves both teams' problems somehow. MJ for Matthew Judon, HR for Haason Reddick. When healthy, Judon's been really good. And the Patriots have all this salary cap space, as Judon himself said. They've paid all these other players. I get why he wants a new contract. I also get why a guy coming off only 4 games played last year, why the Patriots are maybe hesitant to pay him big-time money. And I think there could be a big gap in what he's looking for and what the Patriots are offering him, etc. Here are the highest-paid contracts, passers, I should say, in football. The number that stands out to me here is Danielle Hunter, $24.5 million. He is older. He has battled injuries. He got a lot of money. Von Miller got 19 a couple weeks ago. Jonathan Grenard got $19 million from Minnesota this offseason. It's like, I would be a little surprised if Judon's willing to take less than that $19 million figure. Bryce Huff got 17. That's all pay raises for him. Reddick got 15, by the way. So I think there's some big gaps in like what the number might look like there. And Judon knows this might be his last chance at a big-time contract. So I get the friction there, but I think for both sides, it'd be nice to figure out how you could get that done. Now, if you guys love the NFL, then subscribe for free. Free videos all season, preseason, regular season, off-season long here on Chat Sports. All right, over to the Brandon Aiyuk saga. The saga still not yet complete. The Steelers seem to be the top trade spot, but there's no, finalized deal done, although it certainly checks out that maybe Pittsburgh thinks that they're in a better spot or a done spot. We'll go back in depth on that here momentarily. Look, it's frankly been messy. This has been messy between Aiyuk and the Niners and everything. It has not gone smoothly. It's been kind of a disaster class to a certain extent because they're not going to maximize their return. Maybe they misjudged the wide receiver market. It hasn't gone well for a really good football player. Here's the latest from Ian Rapoport. The Steelers owners have a deal on a potential trade, and Pittsburgh is in a good place on an Aiyuk contract, sources say. If San Francisco gives the final sign-off, it's done. The Niners have an offer out to Aiyuk on a long-term deal for him to stay. He hasn't accepted. Now, if you've been following the Pretty Ricky saga, this is basically what he said days ago. It is kind of funny that what Pretty Ricky says ends up then being reported by the major insiders like a day or 2 days later. My suspicion here is that the Niners don't love the Steelers' offer. They would like to get more out of it. That's why they were leaking stuff about the Patriots and Browns very publicly. Then They made another offer, but Aiyuk's like, no, you can either offer me this number or trade me to Pittsburgh. And the Niners are like, no, you should take this offer or we're not going to trade you. And you kind of got that weird stalemate where like both sides are, what's the one team both just staring at each other? It's that one. It's that one. So where will Brandon Aiyuk play in 2024? Feels like Niners or Steelers, but you can make your best guess there. Sound off in the comments of today's show. Now, I would argue that Brandon Aiyuk, given what we saw over the course of his career, especially last year on like the same targets as Elijah Moore, is a top 10 wide receiver in football. I don't think he's top. I think you got better guys that are top 5, but I think he's top 10. And the top 10 wide receiver market has really exploded. And I think that has been a negative for the 49ers. Look, Amon-Ra St. Brown is not a top 5 wide receiver. I think he's top 10. So if I were Aiyuk, I'd be wanting what Amon-Ra St. Brown got. I'd be wanting what Jalen Waddle got. The initial reports of the Niners were that, maybe they offered Cooper Kupp money, $26 million. I think he's going to have a tough time settling for a little bit less than the Jalen Waddle deal, maybe. 28, maybe it's 30. It sounds like the Browns and Patriots offered more, but for whatever reason, Aiyuk didn't want to go there. It's been a very strange saga. And I think I speak for Steelers and Niners fans when I say this. Hopefully it's over soon. I'm sure it's not fun being edged quite like that.